So in the last 2 or 3 classes, we've already gone through 1.5 shlokas, and in that particular section, the teacher has indicated to us our various the various aspects of our personality. Our personality is not so simple, it's complex, it is complicated, and therefore the teacher introduced us to that, to the different layers of our personality. He said the grossest one, which we are very, very familiar with, the Sthula Sharira, is Mamsamayam. Predominantly it is made up of flesh, fat, etc. Then there is the inner layer just behind the gross equipment. He calls it as the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, and that is Vasanamaya. Vasana means our characteristics, our tendencies, our traits, which we have brought with us, which become responsible for our desires, thoughts, and then they manifest themselves as activities in the world outside. Then the third, even more subtler aspect of our personality, he calls it as the Karana Sharira, the causal body, and that is Ajnanamayam. It is because of this ignorance, spiritual ignorance we are all talking about. It is because of this ignorance that we are all over here, because of which we get caught in this wheel of birth and death. So after having explained to us these 3 upadhis for us, or the adjuncts for us, our equipment for us, gross to subtle, the teacher then indicates these are all inert equipment. They have no life of their own. They all belong to the realm of matter. But we have been saying, we all know, it's our experience that these 3 equipment are functioning in us. The body, the mind, the intellect, and of course our Karana Sharira, which is there just behind them all. It is because of that Karana Sharira that our body, mind and intellect, the Sthula Sharira and the Sukshma Sharira are functioning. So they seem to be very alive, they seem to be very powerful, they are dynamic. Who lends them this dynamism? Or what is it? What is that factor which enlivens them all? Therefore the teacher then picked up that factor which enlivens all these layers of matter in us, the gross as well as the subtle, the equipment for us. He told us it is Sakshi Bodha. Sakshi means witness. When one is a witness, that means one knows. Only then a person will be called as a witness. Because will you be my witness for whatever has happened earlier, means that person knows everything, and therefore we have called for that person to stand as a witness for us. So the witness always represents for us the knowing principle. It is of the nature of knowledge. So Sakshi Bodha, Bodha again means consciousness, the knowing principle. So Sakshi Bodha Tesham Vibhasakaha. It is there even more deeper, embedded in our personality. And what does it do? It knows everything that is happening at the equipment level, gross and subtle. So that is why the word Sakshi. It is a witness of what is happening at the physical level, mental level and at the intellectual level. And it is of the nature of, the teacher says, Vibhasakaha. It illumines for us the functions of these equipment. If it has to illumine, it must be an illuminator. By its very nature, it should be of the nature of light. When we say light, we are not talking about the light, natural lights which we are familiar with, or the artificial lights. When we say illuminator, it means the knowing principle, the awareness in us, which witnesses everything, which knows. It knows everything. There is nothing that it does not know. It knows what we know, and it also knows what we do not know. It illuminates for us our areas of knowledge, objective knowledges, and it illumines for us our areas of ignorance also, what we do not know. So therefore it is called as Visheshena Bhasaka. vibhasaka. So since it is of the nature of light itself, it is self-luminous, self-effulgent, it is the illuminator. And because it is the illuminator, it illumines for us whatever is happening at the equipment level. So the teachers is trying to point out to us what we really are. We want to know who we are. That is a basic question for all of us. We want to know who we are. Do we really know who we are? The teacher is telling us, you are this Sakshi Bodha. You are the witnessing consciousness, Shuddha Bodha. You are the pure consciousness, completely far removed from all the equipment which are being illumined by this factor called pure consciousness. So we are that pure consciousness, that one without a second, which never ever changes, the changeless, the eternal principle of pure consciousness is who we are all, which is represented by the I, capital I over here. That is what the teacher is pointing out to. But are we, each one of us, experiencing this within ourselves? Are we aware of it all? We are not aware of it at all. We are far removed from this pure consciousness, this Sakshi Bodha, and we all know what we all know what we think we are. We know we are a limited person belonging to the realm of mortality, conditioned, finite, having all experiencing the dualistic experiences, Sukha Dukkha, the various pairs of opposites. We are experiencing all of these, and we are very sure within us at this moment that we are not the changeless, we are not the eternal. So there must be some other factor totally different from this capital I that the teacher has pointed out to us, which we all say I am. What is it? The teacher is trying to tell us over here in the second portion of the second shloka. He says over here, Bodha bhaso buddhi gataha karta syat punya papa yoho. We are one. We all know we are only one. We are not two. With an illustration, it will become clear what the teacher is trying to tell us. So we are all one. We know we are not two. And we all consider ourselves, of course, and we are real. Apparently, we are all real because we have an identity. We are known as a Jivatma. We all have an identity of us. And if anybody asks us, are you existing or not? Of course, we exist. So we have to ourselves a reality. But when we go in front of the mirror, the mirror is a reflecting medium. When we are not in front of the mirror, we are only one. But for some reason, when we go in front of the mirror, which is a reflecting medium, then we see ourselves reflected over there. Who is getting reflected over there? The Jivatma himself is getting reflected over there. So when we are in front of the mirror, we don't see one of ourselves, we see two of ourselves. One which we call as the me, the real I in quotes. The I with the name, with the form, with some characteristics, qualities, etc. So there we are standing in front of the mirror and we call ourselves I am the real, this is me. But the same thing is being reflected in the mirror over there. And any action we do, any activity that we do in front of the mirror, the reflected image of ours also will do it. So it looks like the reflected image of ours also is real because it's functioning. When we lift our hand, it is also lifting up its hand. When we smile, the reflected image smiles. So it's got a semblance, just like how we are and how we are functioning. So now in front of the mirror, there seems to be two of us. So one Jivatma, now it looks like two. So, and in front of the mirror we know, I am the real. What is being reflected in the mirror is actually not me. It is my reflection. I lent myself to that reflecting medium, and therefore it has done its dharma. Its nature is to reflect whatever is there in front of it. So the mirror honestly reflects whatever is there in front of it. But still we see too, me as I am in front of the mirror, and also we call ourselves as the real. And who is it that we are seeing in the mirror? We are seeing ourselves over there. But is it real? It's not real. All of us know about it. We don't need anybody to tell us that. That is not real. That is only a reflection of me. That's all. It is there apparently. As long as I am in front of the mirror, it will be there. The moment I move away from the mirror, the reflected image will go away. So it belongs to the realm of change. But will I cease to exist when I move away from the mirror? No. Whether I am in front of the mirror or whether I am away from the mirror, not in front of the mirror, I continue to exist. Therefore, from that standpoint, I am real and the image in the mirror is unreal. Two we are seeing over there. So I am there, the real me, the pure real me, standing in front of the mirror, and that reflected image over there, which is not real. It just is there as long as we are there in front of the mirror. The moment we move away from the mirror or the mirror moves away from us, it will go away. It will cease to exist. But when it ceases to exist, the reflected image, we don't cease to exist. We continue to stay. So then the question will be, so what if I see two of myself? Is there any problem? Let it be, we can see. But there is a problem over there. When we stand in front of the mirror, it is not a honest reflection, in quotes, because it does show whatever is there in front of it. But something has changed over there. What has changed? Something has become reversed. In science we call it, or in physics we call it as lateral inversion. Everything looks ulta, everything looks opposite over there. It shouldn't have, but it is happening there. Why is it happening? That's the nature of the mirror. What to do? We can't help it. If we don't, so therefore our left hand will look like our right hand. Our right hand will look like our left hand. Everything will look opposite. Why is it showing an image which is in the reverse? Why can't it show an image directly? It can't. Why can't it? That is the dharma of the mirror. What to do? So if we don't want to see an ulta image of ours, we should not stand in front of the mirror. That's all. Stop standing in front of the mirror. Then we will not see two, we will be only one, and we are sure who we are. So there is no question of real, unreal, reverse image, nothing at all. We have realized that I am the Jivatma. But once we stand in front of the mirror, we can't help it. And the mirror can't but help reflecting whatever is there in front of it. So if we are standing, it will honestly reflect us. So it looks like there are two of us, one outside the mirror, one inside the mirror. Outside the mirror, we claim ourselves to be real, and inside the mirror, that is false. It doesn't exist. Really, it doesn't exist. Can we catch it? In science, we call it as a virtual image. It is not there, but it is there. We can't catch it. We can't play with it, but it is there in front of us. We can see it with our own eyes. So it's called as a virtual image. False. Mithya it is. And also it exists at a particular point of time, and it will cease to exist at a different point of time when either we move or the reflecting medium moves away from us. So therefore it belongs to the realm of change, but we are there always. Whether we stand in front of the mirror or we don't stand in front of the mirror, I as a Jivatma exists. But the reflected image will exist for us only when we lend support to the reflected medium, when we stand in front of the reflected medium. reflecting medium. And also what does it do? It makes everything reverse. Ulta it makes. The entire left will look like the right, and all the right will look like the left over there. So opposite qualities will come in over here. So if the characteristics of Paramatma, pure consciousness, is eternal, permanent, the characteristics, therefore that is the example or the illustration how to apply it to all of us. Why is it that we are not able to experience that Paramatma or that pure consciousness that we are? We are of the very nature of it, but still, why is it that it is not available for my experience? Because the teacher tells us over here, buddhigataha. What to do in front of that pure consciousness? A reflecting medium has come. What is that reflecting medium? The mind intellect equipment. The mind is the mind that reflects everything. So therefore, buddhigataha means to go along. Gatam means to go. Where does the pure consciousness go? It goes along with the buddhi. Go in quotes. It doesn't walk away like that. It's just a way of saying things. So it means it identifies with. It stands along with. It goes along with. Goes along with what? It goes along with buddhi. Mind intellect equipment, which is there within us. So where is the reflecting medium or the mirror? The mirror is within us. It's not outside of us. We took that as an illustration or an example. So pure consciousness, Shuddha Bodha, is there in us. And in front of it, a reflecting medium has come. For whatever reason, we won't go into it. So, but the fact is that in front of the pure consciousness, there is a reflecting medium. What is that reflecting medium? The mind intellect equipment, the mind over there. The pure consciousness cannot but, when it is there in front of the mirror, the mind can't but reflect. Why? The mirror can't, there is no choice for the mirror at all. When we stand in front of the mirror can't but reflect our own image back to us. Similarly, the reflecting medium called the mind is there within us. Pure consciousness is there in front of it. Therefore, the mind will honestly reflect back the pure consciousness. But just like our mirror, if it had directly reflected everything as it is, maybe there wouldn't have been a problem. But just like our mirror makes everything ulta or makes everything reverse, it makes the left side look like the right side and the right side look like the left side, opposite. So what we see is a reverse image of ours, lateral inversion, I said. Similarly, the mind also, like a honest mirror, it also has the property of this lateral inversion. So we are there, the mirror, the mind is there, the pure consciousness gets reflected in the mind, and when it comes back to us, that is called as, we can't call it as the pure consciousness. It is the reflected consciousness. What we see in the mirror is not me. It is me reflected. It's a reflected image of me. I am not the image. Similarly, when the pure consciousness stands in front of or identifies with, connects with, establishes a link with the mind, associates itself with the mind or accompanies the mind, then the mind will honestly reflect back what is there in front of it. What is there in front of it? Pure consciousness is there. That eternal Sakshi is there in front of it. The illuminator is there in front of it. When the mind reflects back, it won't reflect back what was there in front of it. All the properties, qualities, characteristics become opposite. So pure consciousness is eternal. Reflected consciousness is not eternal, temporal. This is real, that is unreal. Which one? The reflected consciousness that is reflected in our mind is unreal. This is permanent, that is not permanent at all. This represents for us the state of immortality. that represents the state of mortality. This we've already seen is the one without a second, changeless, that represents change. All properties are all the opposite of what is there in front of it. So if the pure consciousness is there in front of the mind reflects back whatever was there in front of it. Paramatma is there in front, which we have been calling till now as pure consciousness, Shuddha Bodha. So when it gets reflected back, now we can't call it as Paramatma at all, because Paramatma's qualities are not associated with the reflection over there, with the reflected consciousness over there. So what can we call it as? We can call it as Jivatma. That is the one which we are all identified with, and we say I. Actually, we are not that I. That is what Sri Ramana Maharshi tells us. He says, seek. Who is that? Who is there within you, which you call it? When we say I, he says, inquire into, investigate into the I. Which I is he talking about? He is talking about the pure consciousness, capital I. But now, far removed from the capital I, we all represent the small I over there. Even in English, when we write, that is straight capital I. When we write the small letter I, it's crooked over there. The small I is crooked. Means dosha, defects, imperfections. Because mind means imperfections. And the small I has got a dot also on top. So it's not one, it has become two. Capital I, which was one, has become two factors now. And there also one is small, one is big. So variation has come over there. It's such a beautiful concept if we really think about it. So therefore the teacher tells us over here, buddhigataha, when the pure consciousness associates itself with the buddhi, with the mind, intellect, with the subtle equipment that is there in us, then he says, bodha bhasaha. Bodha means consciousness. Abhasa means reflection. The reflected consciousness is what we arrive at. So in the mind, what is getting reflected? Consciousness only is getting reflected. Pure consciousness only is getting reflected. But that which we see in the mind is not called as pure consciousness. It is not Shuddha Bodha, but it is reflected consciousness. It is Buddhi Abhasa. Bodha Abhasa. Abhasa means reflection. They call it also as Chidabhasa, Chitchaya, Bodhabhasa. So different names for this. The reflected consciousness, which has got all the traits and the characteristics and the properties exactly opposite of pure consciousness. That is what we all identify with. And when we say I, we should mean the pure consciousness in us. That is the stand or the status in which our masters are, Jivan Muktas are in. When they say I, it means pure consciousness. But when we say I, what we mean is not the pure consciousness, not the one without a second, not the changeless factor. When we say I, we mean our personal identity. We mean the Jivatma. I as I am, which is nothing but we are multiple layers of equipment. Outside of us, there is a world of plurality. Inside of us also, there is the mind has got its own world of emotions. The intellect has got its way it plays about in its own world of thoughts, ideas, values. So everything is so different. One so different from the other. Whereas in the case of pure consciousness, it is just one. There is no two in it at all. Also, it is one without a second. No two at all, leave alone 3, 4 and multiplicity and plurality, diversity, variation happening over there. It is just one without a second, which should have been our experience. But we know now our experience is completely different. So how did it all happen? It all happened because there is a pure consciousness in us which we right now are not aware of. We can call it as the absolute, the awareness in us. We are not now aware of it. Though we are that, we are not aware of it. Why? Spiritual ignorance. Something is veiling us from what we are. And therefore, we are not able to apprehend the true self that we are. It is called non-apprehension of the self. When there is non-apprehension of the self, and when there is also a reflecting medium over there in front of us, the mind reflects what is there in front of it. That reflected consciousness is what we call as I, the Jivatma, which we are all so which we are all identified with. So the moment we get up in the morning, when we say I, we don't mean the true essential self in us, the ultimate reality in us, the Shuddha Bodha or the pure consciousness that the teacher was talking about. We don't mean that at all. Then what do we mean when we say I? We mean the small I. We are identified with the reflected consciousness, and the reflected consciousness is me, and I am the reflected consciousness. So the moment we get up in the morning, we start doing some things, whatever it is. Then automatically we become karta, we become a doer. Everything just starts. Voluntary to involuntary, whatever. Whether the breathing, we are aware of everything that is happening. So therefore, the teacher says, Bodha bhaso buddhi gataha. When the pure consciousness associates itself or identifies itself with the mind, which is the reflecting medium in front of it, then Bodha bhasa happens. The consciousness gets reflected back. Abhasa happens. And that reflected consciousness has got all qualities which are exactly opposite of the pure consciousness. Therefore, if that is Paramatma, this is Jivatma. And we know the characteristics and the qualities of Paramatma and Jivatma. Unlimited, limited. Unconditioned, conditioned. Imperishable, perishable. Immutable, mutable. All pervading, we are all restricted. Infinite, finite. Immortal, mortal. Everything is opposite of that. And we therefore identified with the reflected consciousness, the small I comes into existence. It's all happening, it's just happening spontaneously and instantaneously in us, we are not aware of it. And that is whom we call as Karta. Who are you? When somebody asks, that is what we convey to a person in front of us. Who are you? I am so and so. Name will come. Where are you from? We tell them where we are staying. All these are belonging to the realm of change. Are you qualified or not qualified? Are you educated or not educated? Which family you belong to? Which gotra you belong to? Which nationality you belong to? Everything. Which religion do you belong to? What is your financial status, economical status, social status? Married, not married, working, not working. It's a whole realm of change. There comes in the doer. So therefore Karta. So the moment the doer comes into being, how did it come into being? Who is the doer? Karta, the reflected consciousness, the Jivatma. Paramatma doesn't do anything at all. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is very clear. He said, I don't do anything. Akarta I am. Abhokta I am. When I don't do anything, what is the where is the question of me enjoying the karma phala of the karma done? So neither I am karta, a doer, and when a person does activities in the field of activity, the phala will come. All karma will ultimately lead to some phala. It may come now, it may come later on. Karma plus time is equal to karma phala. All the activities that we do have to mature, and once they mature, they will mature into a fruit. The unripe fruit that we see on the, it has to mature and become a phala which can be consumed by all of us. So every activity that we do in time will mature to yield towards the karma phala. So according to the karma done, good or bad, phala also will be good or bad. Which will come back to whom? Which will come back to the doer. Pure consciousness never did anything. So when he has never done any, when pure consciousness has never done anything, akarta, how can he enjoy the karma phala? Because karma phala will always come back to the person who did the karma. And who did the karma? The karta did it. When we do something, somebody else will not enjoy the fruit of whatever we have done. We only have to enjoy the fruit of whatever karma we have done, whether we like it or not. It will come back to us. The rules in nature are very, very strict. We can't send it to somebody else. We do a wrong activity, wrong action, and then we know the karma phala, the phala which will come to us. We know what it will do to us. Therefore, we can't bypass and say, let it go to somebody else. It will not go to somebody. We can say, I did this wrong action, but I have never been punished for it. I didn't have to pay for it for 10 years. So now, therefore, I can continue to do it. We do not know when it will come back. The phala takes time. It can come now, next moment, it can come after days, months, years. Maybe some karma which we have done, it will take a long time to mature and yield the fruit. Maybe after 10 janmas it will come, but it will come. So if we have done something now, which phala will come after 10 janmas, let's say after 10 into 100, assuming that every janma we will, every birth we will live for 100 years, we have to come back all the 10 times. Why? Because it will come only after, in the 10th janma of ours. So we have to come back to go through it, to enjoy it, bhokta. Whether it is good or whether it is bad, but we have to come back. So therefore the teacher says over here, so therefore the reflected consciousness is what we are calling as Jivatma. It is Jivatma which is me, and me which is Jivatma for all of us. Exceptions are only those who have realized and become Jivan Muktas, only they. For all of us, or for everybody else, when we say talk about ourselves, our identity, it means only the reflected consciousness. So the reflected consciousness, so it is the doer, the karta, who does activities by entering into the field of activity. What activity will the karta do, the doer do? That will depend on the vasanas. We were already told, Sukshma Sharira, or the subtle body, comprises of vasanas. Vasanamayam it is. Means the characteristics we have brought in, the tendencies that we have brought in, what I like and what I do not like, what is conducive to me, what is not conducive to me. All we have brought. Why did we bring things which are conducive to us and not conducive to us? Why did we bring in likes and why did we bring in dislikes also? Why not bring only likes? But that's what we have done in our previous lives. Accordingly, likes will be there, dislikes will be there. Pleasant will be there, unpleasant will be there. Conducive will be there, not conducive also will be there. So we have brought in all these vasanas with us, our characteristics, and they will all slowly manifest as desires at the intellect level. Then they will manifest as a thought in the mental level, and finally they will all become gross activities at the physical level. So there will be a whole variety of activities which the Jivatma will be performing. And who is the Jivatma? Now we know he is the Karta, the doer. So who is the doer? Now we know. We are the doer. For all of us, yes, I am a doer. And I am a Jivatma, and of course I am a doer. There is no doubt about it at all. What about the pure consciousness? Right now for us it is completely veiled. Not little bit veiled. Totally veiled. We have no knowledge, we have no inkling of it at all. All of us are at the reflected consciousness level, at the Jivatma level. And the teacher's loving insistence is to take us from where we are at the level of Jivatma up to the level of Paramatma. So therefore, Karta, we all become a doer. And when we become a doer, of course we have to enter into a field of activity. Why should I enter into any field of activity? Why not just sit down and not do anything? Our vasanas will force us into activity, whether we like it or not. Helplessly, hopelessly, we will be driven by those powerful vasanas in us to enter into the field of activity. Why? We have brought them. So nobody gave it to us. We have brought our characters. Nobody put it into us. God did not put it into us. Nobody else put it into us. We ourselves have brought all our characteristics, tendencies, likes, dislikes with us. So it's all our own choice. And when we bring it, why did we bring it? To play them all out. Simply, none of us have come into this world. None of us are just like that come to be mere spectators when somebody else is performing. Each one of us is contributing by actively participating. And what is it that we are doing? It's all aligned with our vasanas. So vasanas, as long as the vasanas are there, we will helplessly, hopelessly be driven. It looks like as though something is there just behind, within us. A powerful force which will push us from inside and make us do whatever vasanas we have brought with us, which will manifest as desire, thought and activity. There is no escape at all. That's what the Lord tells Arjuna also. You are saying, I do not want to fight, I do not want to fight, but you are a Kshatriya. You have been born with those characteristics and traits, and therefore, how much ever you say, I will not fight. Your nature, your Swabhava, Arjuna, will make you fight, will push you into it. Therefore, instead of resisting over there, resistance is not very conducive. Any resistance, in physics we have electrical circuits, resistance always will get heated up. So where there is resistance, it is disaligning. So therefore the Lord says, why not align yourself to it? If we align, we are in the flow, with the flow. So the energy that is there with the physical, mental, intellectual will not get drained out in resisting when we align ourselves with it. So the Lord tells Arjuna, if you in spite of everything still say, I will not fight, nature will make you fight. So there are very powerful, every vasana is powerful. So when we say, I do not know why I didn't, vasana was there in us, samskara was there in us, therefore we did whatever we had to do. So that is called as prarabdha. Whatever vasanas we have brought, prarabdha. Prakarshena arabdha. They've started slowly, they've started to yield their, it's like, it just started. We've initiated it and gotten into the field of activity. And of course, there is a process. In space and time, it will take time. It will move, it will go on. So therefore, whether we like it or not, our vasanas will make us, will push us into the field of activity. We have no choice at all over there. It will compel us to do whatever vasanas we have. That is why we do say, I do not know why I got into it, or why I said it, or why I did not say it, why I ventured into this project, or why I did not venture into this project. I should have. Either way it is, because of our powerful samskaras and vasana. We call it as prarabdha. Prakarshena, they've started to manifest themselves. Vasanas are unmanifest in us, we can't see them. Slowly, when they manifest, they will become very, very strong desires in us. Sankalp, willing and wishing will happen in us. Desire, then again, like I said, it will become thoughts and then become activities. So all the prarabdha that we have brought in with us, it has to get exhausted. There is no other choice. In Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara says, why are you worried? Your prarabdha will take care of you. You just turn towards the Lord. Contemplate on the higher which is there in you. Contemplate on the pure consciousness in you. The Paramatma in you who doesn't have any of this prarabdha vasana. He is beyond all that. Why are you getting identified with your various layers of personality? Identified with that and then get into the field of activity. Why are you worried? He said. Turn your attention towards the Lord. What about my physical body, sir? He says prarabdha will look after it. So if our prarabdha which we have brought for this particular life of ours has not got exhausted, come what may, we will not drop the physical body, or the physical body will not drop off at all. Come what may. Why? Prarabdha has not got exhausted. Every little bit that we have brought for this life has to get exhausted, has to go to its logical conclusion. Only then we will quit the physical body, or the physical body will drop off wherever we are. It won't wait for place, it won't wait for time, it won't wait for a conducive, in quotes, conducive environment, situation, occasion, nothing like that. Anywhere it will drop off. Once the prarabdha is over. It's a very beautiful way of settling the accounts. Management, accounts management. All we can learn from our own lives. So therefore, karta. So the doer will enter into the field of act. He has got no choice. None of us have got any choice when it comes to prarabdha. So they very beautifully say, what we meet in our life is prarabdha. What we meet in life. So it comes in front of us. We have got no choice. It will just come in front of us, whether we like it or not. What comes in front of us, our prarabdha only will come in front of us. It can come as a thing, it can come as a person, it can come as a situation, an hurdle, an obstacle, whatever it is, or the other way around. It can become very conducive for us to reach our goal and target. Why? Prarabdha is like that. So what we meet in our life is prarabdha. Then do we not have any choice over there? How we meet what we meet is our purushartha. So prarabdha we cannot change. It will come to us. So what we meet in our life is prarabdha. But a small little choice has been given. That also not too much. It's like a cow being tied with the help of a long rope. One end of the rope tied to its neck. The other end of the rope tied to this thing over there. Maybe a pole or whatever. It can't go away anywhere it wants. It can't drift away. But there's some movement is possible. There it has got a choice. Whether it to the extent of the length of the rope, it can move around. It can move around little, it can move around more. It can walk fast, it can move fast, it can move slowly, it can sit down. It can do anything. So some little freedom has been given to all of us. There we can exercise our self-effort. So therefore they say, I'm just repeating again, what we meet in life is prarabdha. How we meet, what we meet is called as purushartha. That's where the teachers insist on us and say, do your purushartha. Put in your self-effort. There is a little bit of freedom given to us. Maybe not 100%, but slowly as we put in self-effort, we get aligned to the higher. So therefore more and more expansion will be there within ourselves. More expansion is there means more choice will be there. More space will be there for us to move around. Not physically, within ourselves. So therefore karta, and when the doer starts engaging himself in a field of activity, we know the karma pala has to come. It can be plus, it can be minus. It can be shubha or it can be ashubha. It can be papa or it can be punya. Either way, but different levels are there. So the teacher says over here, karta syat punya papa yoho. The moment we identify ourselves as a doer, immediately we engage ourselves in the field of activity, in our activity, and when the karma phala comes back to us, we alone have to enjoy it. So the karta becomes the bhokta over here. And what does he enjoy? Both we have to enjoy. If we have done good activities, the good, the merit, the punya for it. If we have done, for whatever reason, adharmic activities, things that should not be done by us, then papa will come to us. Ashubha will come to us. Demerit will come to us. That also we alone have to enjoy. Nobody else can enjoy it for us. So therefore over here in the second shloka, in the second part of the second shloka, the teacher now introduces us to who we are. Who are we? We are all the small I. The Jivatma we are all. Far removed from Paramatma. And the teachers, like I said, wants to help us to move from the state of Jivatma to the state of Paramatma. He said, don't be the small I. Instead of becoming the small I, become the capital I. And for that is all the spiritual sadhana, etc. So there are two I's now. One is capital I and one is small I. One is the pure consciousness, one is the reflected consciousness. Pure consciousness we are not even aware of. It's like we are switched off from it. It is in the dark for us. That is why we say Krishna is in the dark. Krishna is dark. Krishna is not dark. We are in the dark. All our darkness we have superimposed on him, because that is the nature of Jivatma. If anybody asks her, do you know this? We will never say, no, I do not know. We will say, yes, I know. Do you know the way to this market or shop? Most of us will never say, sorry, I do not know, you can ask somebody else. We will project as though we know everything. Non-apprehension, I do not know the way to the shop, but still I will not say it out. I will not speak out my ignorance. And then what do? We misproject over there. We will say, I think you can turn left and then go a little bit over there and right. I think it is there. I think it is there. None of us want to say, I do not know. So therefore, the pure consciousness on one side, the reflected consciousness on the other side. This side is Paramatma, this side is Jivatma. So it looks like there are two now. Actually, there are no two. That is what is called as Maya. Why did all this happen? It happened because of the Ajnana, where Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is Ajnanamaya. And what is this Ajnana? Maya we call it. What is Maya? That which does not exist. In the mirror, whom did we see? We saw ourselves. It looked very, very real. But we know it is not real, it is unreal. It is a virtual image. Even in science class we say, not a real image, it's a virtual image. Virtual image, we can't catch hold of it. It's unavailable for us, but we are seeing it over there. What is real? I am real who is standing in front of the mirror. So, but in front of the mirror, we are solid, we have concluded, yes, there are two aspects of me. Children will feel like that. Animals will feel like that. Supposing there is a pet dog and it stands in front of the mirror over there, it will feel there is another dog over there and it will growl. It will bark. Why is there another dog in this house? I am supposed to be the only one over here. When it barks, the reflection also will bark. So then they will go on. The real dog will quarrel with the reflected dog which doesn't exist. That's exactly what we are all doing over here. So the teacher says two factors are there, the pure consciousness and the reflected consciousness, Paramatma and Jivatma. And he wants us to understand now the difference between the two, because he has spoken about pure consciousness. He has spoken about the reflected consciousness. Why did it happen? He has told us. And when that happens, how it functions through the various bodies, he has indicated it also to us. So therefore, we have to now try to, so therefore, it looks like there are two, but there are no two. If we are seeing two, that is Maya. What does Maya mean? Maya means that which does not exist. So after realization, when the person looks back, they say, there was never two. There was never a plurality, there was never a multiplicity. There was no universes at all. Then who was there? Only I, the one without a second, pure consciousness alone. Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam. But when will that experience come? When the person through spiritual sadhana moves to that level. That also very beautifully in the Viveka Chudamani, Sankara dramatizes it. He says, he dramatizes for us a person who realizes. Just now he has realized in his seat of meditation that he is nothing but the pure consciousness and he is not the reflected consciousness. And then when he looks back, he says, where is the world that I saw? This world, the huge world in which we are all in. The plurality, the multiplicity, the diversity, the variety outside of us, inside of us. Where is it all gone? It just went away like as though somebody waved a magic wand and gone. It is all. Where is it? He dramatizes it all for us. So the teacher wants us to slowly reach out to that. So in the third shloka, we'll start with the third shloka and we'll continue in the next class. The teacher says, Sa eva samsaret karma vashat lokadvaye sada bodha bhasat shuddha bodham vivichyat ati yatnataha. So here he said, therefore the biography of the doer has been indicated over here. He, sa means he, who is the he? The doer. Yes, the doer, the karta. What happens to him? Sa eva, indeed, he or ceaselessly means always, continuously, without any break. Samsaret means, that's from that the word samsara has come. Samsara means that which comes and goes. We come and go. Therefore it is called as the realm of samsara. And having come over here, everything in our life also comes and goes. It was winter came. Now it is going away. Spring, then summer will come. So when winter goes, spring comes. Spring goes, summer comes. Summer goes, the windy season comes. So everything comes and goes. Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha. Happiness comes and then goes away. When happiness goes, what comes? Sorrow comes to us. That also will never be permanent with us. Sorrow goes away, again happiness comes. Sukha Dukkha. Mana Avamana. Health, ill health. Everything comes and goes. How long it will stay with us is a different matter. That's our vasanas will decide all those things. But everything comes and goes in our life. That is called a samsara. That which comes and goes, wherein we are all. Therefore, that doer, the teacher says, Sa eva samsaret karma vashat. Because of the karma that he has done, why did he do karma? Vasanas he has brought. If vasanas are not there, no karma we will do. Vasana is exhausted, the physical body will drop off. Because of karma, vasanas only we are doing karma. And when we do karma pala will come and therefore we enjoy it. Again new characteristics will get added to us and then again we have to come back. We have come to exhaust our vasanas. Instead of totally exhausting them all by performing everything without the I-ness and the minus in us, we identify with the kartrutva bhava and the bhoktrutva bhava, and therefore what happened? The karma pala sticks to us. And because of that we have to come back again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. The Sankaracharya has written in Bhajagovindam. So therefore here, karma vashat, because of karma, which leads to karma pala, which leads to vasanas, vasanas will lead to karma, karma will lead to karma pala will lead to vasana. It's a big cycle chain over there, wheel over there, into which we have got, we got stuck in it. We got caught in this. Therefore he says karma vashat samsaret, coming and going. Where coming and going? Lokadvaye sada always, he said. This life, next life. This two lokas means here and hereafter. 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan told us. When we enter into the field of activity, and if a lot of punya we have acquired, papa if we have acquired, we will, when the physical body drops off, we go to the lower realms, get punished for over there. We are not punished for the sin or the mistake. We are punished by the mistake or by the sin itself. So in time, what wrong we have done itself will catch hold of us and punish us. Nobody is sitting over there. That's all dramatized in the Puranas. Sitting over there and punishing us for the sin or for the wrongdoing. It is by the wrongdoing only. So then, and then after that is over, we have to come back here. Similarly, when we have done lot of punya, good activities, so lots of merit and punya we have acquired. After the physical body is, we quit the physical body, we go to the higher lokas. Enjoy over there for a sufficient long time. Why? We did that much of good work over here. So we have to be rewarded. But after all that is over, kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. Once the punya is all exhausted, we have experienced whatever we had to experience for the good that we did over here, we have to come back again over here. So that's what is meant by lokadvaye, here and hereafter, going and coming, going and coming. In sada, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. For a jivatma, there is no escape for him. That's why Sankara wrote in his Bhajagovindam, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayan. It's not just birth and death. Again you have to come back, he said. So the wheel is complete over there. Birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, it will go on. How to get out of it? Then the teacher says over here, you have to distinguish or discriminate, differentiate or separate out. Separate out what from what, sir? He says you have to separate out the pure consciousness from the reflected consciousness. Bodha bhasat, shuddha bodham, vivichyat. You have to distinguish, or you have to separate out. Right now we do not know. For us it looks like one, because the two of them have got so beautifully interlocked with each other. It's like milk and water. When we pour water into milk, they both become one. And after that, if we tell the milkman, I know you have put water into the milk, you please remove the water and take away the water content and give me only the milk content. He says no. But you only diluted the milk. Yes, I added water, but I can't remove it out. So like that, they're all looking one now. Completely one. They look intermingled with each other. It looks like how to separate out the pure consciousness from the reflected consciousness, or the other way around. Reflected consciousness from the pure consciousness. It is like separating out water and milk. As difficult as that. Is it possible? The teacher says yes, it is possible. Vivichyat, he is telling us now. Now you know that there are two. So if we are seeing two, what should we do? I don't want to see two. I want to see only the real me and not the real me and the unreal me in the mirror. Simple it is. Don't stand in front of the mirror. Reflecting medium. Either you move away from the mirror or move the mirror away from you. Both mean the same. If you remove the mirror away from you, then you are only one. You will never see two. So that confusion of whether I am one or whether I am two will go away from us. So similarly here the teacher says, remove the mirror. Remove the mirror means we have to go beyond the mind, transcend the mind, drop off these equipment which with which we have got identified with. Who identified? Right in the beginning, pure consciousness identified. Did it identify? No, it didn't. But from our standpoint, it looks like. Because the teacher told, buddhigataha, bodha baso buddhigataha. So the pure consciousness, when it starts looking in the reflecting medium, it got reflected. That reflected consciousness alone became the karta. Then he became the bhokta. And then he got caught in this karma pala wheel. This wheel called samsara. How to get rid of it, and therefore because of that, going and coming, going and coming. How to get out of it, sir? The teacher said, Bodhabhasa Chuddha Bodham. Separate the two out. Separate the reflected consciousness from the pure consciousness. Vivichyat means separate them out. Take them away, sir. Completely pull them apart. Is it easy? He said, Ati Yatnataha. It's not easy at all. Walking the spiritual path in the Kathopanishad, we are told, is like walking on the razor's edge. We'll come back to it next time. This line next time again. It's very difficult for us because so many janmas we have got identified with the reflected consciousness. I am the reflected consciousness and the reflected consciousness is me. We have no doubts about we being Jivatma. But we have all the doubts of being Paramatma. In fact, where is Paramatma and me? I am not Paramatma at all. Do I have all the qualities and characteristics of Paramatma? No. Therefore, how can I be God? How can I be Brahman? But here the teachers are saying, yes, you are Brahman. So if that means it is a possibility. That means we can filter them out, separate them out. Separate them out, negate and reject the reflected consciousness, the Jivatma, along with all equipment, their vyavahara, everything, and hold on to identify fully with the pure consciousness. It is not easy. Therefore, the teacher says, Yatnataha. Yatna means effort. Ati Yatnataha. It's not little effort we have to put in. Little effort will not yield anything to us. Ati Yatnataha, he says, you have to put in tremendous, great effort to separate the two out. To draw away, to pull apart the reflected consciousness and the pure consciousness. Then drop this and hold on to the pure consciousness. It takes a lot of effort. So the last line, we will go through it a little more in the next class. The last line of the third stanza.